Welcome to No Match for a Blaster, the Star Wars role-playing podcast, Season 2, Episode 32, Tambor Halls. I'm your host and Stormtrooper Marksman, Ito Davis. May the 4th be with you. If you're new here, No Match for a Blaster is an actual play podcast featuring the Morality Plays crew playing the Star Wars role-playing system by Fantasy Flight Games. And now it is time to thank our Nerf Herd of the Week, Kelly Carell, and our Blaster Head of the Week, Liz Beatty. At this level, our patrons get access to our exclusive Patreon feeds to listen to our exclusive episodes days early. Plus, Kelly will get to name her very own NPC on our show. Thank you, patrons. To be our next Blasterhead or Nerf Herd of the Week, be sure to subscribe to us at patreon.com/moralityplays. A few weeks ago, the trailer for a new Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order, dropped, and it's got us thinking about our favorite video games. We'd like to hear from you, our listeners. What's your favorite Star Wars game? Old Republic? Pod Racing? Lego Star Wars? Let us know on Facebook at No Match for Blaster, or tweet us at morality_plays. And if you're enjoying our story so far, please don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. So get your parking tags ready, because we're returning to the crew of the Atheon as they're parking their ship and headed into Segura.
Open. Moff Spozak's intelligence log. The city planet of Segura, once a thriving industrial metropolis, is now a derelict shadow of its former self. Though it apparently teems with little more than opportunists and thugs, this planet is the most recent destination of the crew of the Atheon. These agents of the New Republic Defense Force intend to follow the Force-induced hallucinations of their captain in their search for a secret Jedi temple amidst the towering skyscrapers. Close intelligence log. Ba-ba-ba.
Force and Destiny dice?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. One light side.
Ooh, 2 light side.
Mm-hmm. 2 light side.
It's going well so far.
There we go. Damn it.
2 light side. Wow.
We win this week.
Is it 7?
7 light side, no dark side.
Well, okay. Okay.
Can we just spend them all and win this encounter?
I have a feeling that a lot of my preparation is not going to be applicable.
You prepared?
That's what you get for preparing.
You prepared?
I prepared 4 elements. Alright. Where we left you off...
Earth, wind, fire, heart.
Where we left you off, you were on the taxi pier, effectively, on top of this massive ship parking lot overlooking Segura's the city planet sprawling ahead of you. Just massive speeders everywhere. And yeah. And you guys have a lead?
Not a religion exactly, but something like that, huh?
There was a meetup for people who like Force stuff. And you figured out where they were. And we were gonna go check it out?
Well, I think S4 figured out. I didn't figure out, but yeah.
Team effort. Okay. So, where do we need to go?
I think we're waiting on a cab.
Yeah, so are you going to go get your swoop? It's a swoop, right? Not a speeder?
Yeah, it is a swoop.
It's a swoop.
No, I guess not. I'm sure I'll go back and get it later.
I'm sure you'll try.
It's only behind 20 tons of Duracrete.
It's very well secured.
Yeah. So S4, you got
secured.
You got a place you got the location is called Tambor Halls.
Okay.
It looks like it's a regular meeting place for some of these kind of places. You pulled up the basic information of it. It's in one of the superstructures, of course. but it looks like it's a regular meeting place for a whole bunch of different kind of organizations.
Okay. And I have general directions to it?
Yeah.
Is this a place we could walk to?
No, there's no place you can walk to.
So we need transport.
Let's get a cab.
We will certainly need a speeder to get to this place, Captain.
Is there like a line? Like, you know how like in some places there have like a
taxi line?
Yeah, like a taxi line.
It's like a pier, so they come up and slot in, and then they wait for someone to come in, and you can tell they're different rating, like there's different ranges of scuzz for the different taxi cabs. So they're not going real quick, but they're kind of stammered. So you probably right now see 5 different speeder taxis waiting, and then there's a few spots that actually rotate pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll.
I mean, there's nothing we can't handle in a crappy taxi.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pick one and.
So you go up. Of course, it's yellow because even in space stuff, taxis are yellow. The door opens up. Gull wing doors swoop up. As you step in, there's a little display for the back seats. As all of you kind of sit down, right as S4 sits down, you do see there's a little counter in the bottom right-hand corner that has gone from green text to red text, and it looks like it's a weight capacity issue. It looks like it's fine, but it's barely fine. As you go in, there is multiple displays of the city planet, and the person, the very large alien who's sitting in the front seat, which is in the very middle of the speeder, doesn't even interact with y'all. There's just displays in the back.
Okay. S4M will extend a hand and search for the location and try to indicate it to the computer that that's where they want to go.
Okay.
Also, we spend a light side point, and there's a display, and there's like ads on the screen that are just like the Great Pyramid of Segura. And we find the place we're looking for.
It does play ads. You see some for food, you see some for recreation and stuff like that. They're all very washed out, like they haven't been updated very much. And you do see the same ad for the brew tour, that local alcohol brew tour that Remy...
Oh, that we found on the computer earlier. Yeah.
It says that it's going to take you about an hour and a half. Even in a speeder, it's about 3 quadrants away. 3 quadrants away. And it's going to cost you about 15 creds.
Do we need to slot the credit card first? Or?
Essentially put a cred chip in and it drains it as you go.
And as you fall from this moving speeder that has just decided to spit you out, you have to do the goofy scream.
Mm-hmm. The Wilhelm scream.
No, the goofy one.
The literal goofy one.
Literal goofy. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
As the gull wing doors come down and seal, you see that they are surprisingly thick. Like, they actually look almost the same thickness as the ramp on the Atheon. It's got some chunky walls. And the speeder, poof, starts to go into traffic. It pulls into a major, what you could kind of think of as, not really a highway, but there's an extreme cluster of ships all going in the same direction very fast. Kamaya, you love speed.
Yeah.
This is a different kind of speed because it is going among just a torrent of other speeders.
Oh, great. We're in a New York taxi cab?
Yeah. You love going fast, and your favorite thing is to go fast in the open plains of Hoban. You feel like a sardine going light speed, down a drain. And there are times a lot of the ships are going different speeds because obviously they don't have the same max speed or anything. And sometimes you'll have one go zip right past the one you're in. Sometimes you'll see your taxi go and nearly smash into another slower moving taxi. and it just skids off the side. You feel the impact at your core, but you're not thrown around a lot. The taxi, because it's so heavily armored, it looks like it has free reign to knock the heck out of anyone that's smaller than it and hope it doesn't get hit by anybody bigger than it.
All right.
For an hour and a half.
This is bumper cars.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, what?
You know what? We're getting through this, and Kamaya respects that. I think she respects that the skill that it takes to drive like this and survive this long.
This goes on for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I will require maintenance after this.
I was about to say, do we take strain from this? Or, I mean...
No. This taxi's very well made for this. If you try to do this in, I don't know, a swoop, probably
You die.
Yeah. But you could, but whew, you would be faster than a lot of
I don't know why
these.
you brought up a swoop.
As it starts to come towards the end, you see that you see the speeder turns off of the main thoroughfare. Still a pretty sizable path between buildings, and you actually notice that it doesn't slow down as it starts to approach this massive megastructure. It tips its nose down a little bit and goes a little lower in the crowd, and then all of a sudden it feels like it's about to punch right through the building, and an aperture opens up in the face of the building, and it's almost as if the ship gets caught by this energy net, going full speed, and then immediately decelerates. Everyone is then smashed up into the front of the taxi.
Except for S4M, who's wearing his seatbelt now.
S4N dents into the front, into
Right,
the little
it dents
wall.
the
Many of the
plate
displays
between us
turn
and the
off.
pilot. Yeah.
There's when S4M goes in the front, there's like literally an S4M shaped dent. It's very cartoonish.
They did not make the interior walls as thick, apparently.
Well, gosh, no. Why would you think that? It's caught by a net and decelerates pretty quickly. It's then you feel movement as it is grabbed by something and shifted off to the side, almost like it's on a belt or some kind of armature has moved the taxi off to the side. As the gull wing doors open, you see yourself on another similar pier-styled parking area. You look around, and it actually looks like mostly when you go into a hotel and you come out of the parking structure and it has a little kiosk desk and all that kind of stuff, leading you to different directions within the building, you find yourself in one of those kind of locations. There is a very grumpy Twi'lek counter clerk, and lots of people buzzing back and forth, some of which are in uniforms all around you. Looks like you haven't seen a lot of places on this planet, but it looks like everywhere you've seen, everybody's busy, everyone's annoyed.
S4, where did you see where are we supposed to be for this thing?
Recalculating. This way.
Oh.
We need to go to a hall. It does not indicate which one, though. We will have to ask.
Oh, okay. What's the group called?
Yeah, what was the group called?
Let's make a name for them.
The Third Resurrection of Twilight.
Oh, God.
Is that what it's called?
It appears to be the third resurrection of Twilight.
Really? Okay. She'll go right up to that person at the desk.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
We're looking for the meeting space for the third resurrection of Twilight.
What kind of group are they?
They're like Force stuff. They look into they talk about the Jedi and things like that.
Religion.
Oh, spirituals. They're probably going to be in the halls. You're going to go down about 64 floors. You can take the express elevator over there, down there. That's where the halls start. From there, you're going to have some more specifically.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks.
On the kiosk, you see it says says Tambor Rise, and it seems that this entire superstructure, which when you guys were coming in, you estimating about 450 stories high. Mm-hmm. It's called just Tambor Rise.
That's the name of this block building. What?
It's the name of this building.
Tambor Rise. Okay.
You guys came in mostly in the middle, so they're giving you an estimation that it's probably around in the 200 mark, where the quote-unquote halls start.
Okay, so we have to go down and get a more specific thing. Yeah, let's go.
All right. You go to a lift, and you see it's broken up into different, almost like districts. Like each one of these massive structures is mostly self-sufficient, because if it wasn't, then you'd have to enter and travel. So you see one that's mostly, there's an entire chunk of the building that is textiles and, office buildings and, living quarters and recreation. Basically, it's pretty self-sufficient. Think of it as a mall plus a city, all in one.
Interesting.
There's a little one area. This says Tambor Halls. It starts at floor 200 and goes to about 222.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to 200 and start looking around.
As you go down, the lift takes a little while to do this. Of course, it's a nice, gorgeous glass or Duraglass windowed elevators. You can see all the floors as you go. You're going down the central spire of the entire Tambor Rise, so you can see all the floors as you whoosh by. You see themes and colors and tone of each of these groupings of levels all seem to make sense and then break, and then you see it happen in a different tone. It's been very, very districtized. And the scale, once again, is daunting. You actually do not... something you may pick out is that you haven't really seen very many other droids. A lot of things are done by droids and help out a lot of whenever you don't have a lot of people. Here, it's so dense of people, you realize there's also... And there's not a lot of droid access to places either.
That's weird.
Something strange, Kamara.
There's no droids here.
They have an abundance of population.
Well, sure. I guess I never thought about it.
I'm wondering why everyone is so, such in a bad mood. Perhaps if we wish to blend in, we should be in a bad mood.
Well, we'll see how long it takes us to find what we're looking for. I'm sure I'll get in a bad mood then.
The lift stops with a satisfying ding and opens up.
We're not in the Mandalorian place anymore. There's dings now.
The lift opens up, and you have a few lifts to your left and right, and as it opens up to this massively tall space, it's about 4 or 5 stories tall just in this one spot, and it feels like you're entering into this almost cathedral-esque area. There's branching paths, about 12 of them in front of you, and you can see symbols above each of the archways. This specific area, you do see there's a good number of people milling around, and they all, some of them tend to have what you can describe as religious garb, but not a religion that you've been able to pick out, that is super distinctive. There is no centralized desk clerk, though.
Okay. What was it called again? Third Resurrection of Twilight?
Yes.
Okay. I stop the nearest person.
Okay.
And I ask them.
It is
Hey.
It is a person sitting on everything's kind of like a little alabaster colored, which is kind of weird to you. It's like a little alabaster bench, and they're wearing this full robes of turquoise and green.
Okay. Hey, excuse me. We're looking for the meeting place for the Third Resurrection of Twilight. Do you know where that is?
I'm not familiar with that group. I'm sorry.
Oh. Is there a directory somewhere?
If you go through those halls over there, the Seekers of Enlightenment tend to direct everyone else.
Oh, okay. Cool. How do I... Is there like a sign on their door or something?
Look for the symbol, and he paused through his stuff for a second and pulls out this a small little data pad, flips it over, and on the back of it you see a symbol of it's an open circle with two lines going through it, but they're perpendicular lines. So it's not like a cross. They go
Well, if it was perpendicular...
parallel. The parallel lines.
Is
go
it
through.
more like an
Parallel-
X? Okay.
Parallel lines go through.
Right, I was like, you mean, okay.
Cool, thanks.
They tend to help everyone that are looking for information down here. A lot of the other functionaries aren't allowed on this level.
Oh?
No,
Why aren't they allowed?
This is a place for spirituality and faith. So, if you're not here looking for that, then it's very frowned upon. It's one of the few places you can go to that are safe.
Where there are birds that live.
Oh yeah,
In the city.
There are birds here.
They live
Yeah,
in the
Oh
city.
gosh, yes,
that's
there's
what
birds
that is,
everywhere.
yeah.
Essentially, he's telling you that oh, this is also one of the first, there have been advertisements and throngs of people, moving and bustling everywhere. This place is one of the few places, this is the first place you've seen that has a certain level of calm and quiet to it. There's no odd buzz of people and sound everywhere.
Except for the
Okay.
birds.
Except for the birds. They're mechanical birds.
It's just for the ambiance. Yeah. Cool.
So one of the archways does have that symbol on top of it. You can give me a knowledge. Is it a history thing? Inner core?
Knowledge inner
Yeah.
core? Okay.
To see if you guys notice and recognize any of these other symbols.
A group check? Or
Yeah, give me a group check.
4 successes.
Oh, well, never mind.
S4M will know.
Alright.
S4M.
S4, you recognize pretty much all of the symbols. They all tend to be different
The
religious
general
groups.
religious symbols.
Yeah, they look like they are more... They look like these are the core... Like the big movers and shakers of faith.
The core world sector.
Yeah, there are some that look like they've been replaced, but you even notice...
Well, it has been a while.
It has been a while, yeah. So yeah, it looks like it has branched off in different wings depending on the religion. The
Seekers.
Seekers of Enlightenment.
They are kind of a curator of religions. They tend to lean more on history of faith than of current faith, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maya doesn't know any of this.
Nope.
Okay, you go walk through the arch? Okay.
Yeah.
You do feel a low-level scan, as far as you feel this at least, go over your body as you walk through the arch.
Okay. What does it seem to be scanning for? Weapons?
You're not quite sure. You'd have to interact with a panel to figure out what it looked for. You just know that it looked... It didn't seem like a specific... a very deep scan, at least. And not very cutting edge. So it couldn't have gotten very much information in that short amount of time.
Alright, well, after we walk through the scan, S4M says,
We have been scanned.
For what?
I'm not certain. I would have to interact with the controls more directly to figure out what it was looking for, but it could not have seen much. It was not the most up-to-date scan. nor was it very invasive.
Okay.
Remy, you actually feel a level of quiet come over you as you walk through that archway.
Okay.
Kind of the same way that the others noticed that, there wasn't this crazy hustle and bustle in this area. You didn't really notice that quietness until you walked through that archway.
All right.
So the group of you walk through the archway and you look around. It's a long, long hall. After you get towards the end of it, you do see that it almost opens up like a library. But a Star Wars library, so it's just lights on shelves. And there are people walking around through and have different... there's no specific kind of clothing that they're wearing. They're wearing a vester or, just normal kind of clothes, but they still have that same kind of calm air about them. Each one of them, though, has this book-sized pack on the side of their belt with a cord coming out of it, attaching to one of their gloves, either to the left or right. And as they go from light book on a shelf, Star Wars, they run their hand across it, and they kind of seem to gloss over for a few minutes until they go to a different book and then do the same thing.
Does this book on their belt have the circle with the parallel lines?
It does.
Uh-huh.
These would be the Seekers.
Okay.
It seems they have not changed much in several thousand years.
You knew them before?
I knew of them.
Okay. What do they do? Apparently they've been helping people get around, but...
They gather information on religions, and try to ensure stability, especially when new faiths come to the forefront.
Okay.
Do they keep records? Perhaps they may have a record of the temple we're looking for.
It is a possibility. They do keep records. They are more interested in the past of religions than the future of them.
That's what we're looking for, so...
Talking is not my area of expertise, however.
All right.
It's cool, that's where we got this.
Does it is there a ranking? Does it matter which one we talk to?
I do not believe so.
I say we just go up to a person.
All right. We go to the next one that walks by.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I was hoping you could help us.
Oh, yes. What do you need?
We are looking for an ancient temple, pyramid in shape. I was hoping maybe your records could help us locate this.
Perhaps. Where would this? Do you know the faith or where it would be located? I might narrow down the search.
Jedi.
Oh. Unfortunately, there was a massive purge of Jedi texts.
What do you mean?
Well, after the Galactic Empire took over, a lot of those records were destroyed.
You don't have any information?
Absolutely. We have tons of information.
Heard there might be something here.
We have tons of information about specific locations. That is a little tougher. We'll walk with you, and you walk for, a few minutes until you get to this certain bank of
light
bookshelves. And a lot of them are very dim. It looks like that there's definitely a delineated section for like Jedi and stuff like that, but only 1 in 12 of the books is lit up.
Okay.
As you see, we are constantly trying to retrieve information about, every faith, and we have recovered some information about the Jedi and Sith, but then currently this is where we stand. And as they are not currently living religions, new information about them is not exactly pouring in.
Well, we did hear that there was a group meeting somewhere around here to talk about them. They don't know anything?
I don't know who you're speaking of.
What resurrection of the third? What was it? S4?
The third resurrection of Twilight.
Sure, that.
I can check one moment. They go over to a central, like one of the end caps. Effectively plugs in, eyes glaze over. As they're doing a little bit of googling, star googling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do they have cybernetics?
No, you don't actually. Do you scan?
No, I'm not going to scan him.
Okay.
That would be extremely rude.
After a moment comes back. Oh, no, there must be a misconception. So that is on level 219. It's one of the newer current religions. It looks like they have an application placed to gain access to one of the intermediary halls, but no. I wouldn't consider them Jedi or Force learning even.
Well, we're not really looking for Force learning. We're looking for somebody who can just kind of give us information about the temples and stuff.
Well, you're more than welcome to look through the text that we do have, but the information we do have is pretty barren.
So, what is this group actually interested in? You said they're newer.
Yeah, go over to a holo display and pulls up their application form for one of the intermediary halls.
Sure.
It boasts 19 members that meet every other week. They mark influences, and they definitely have the word, the Jedi faith as one of their influences, but also another 9 other faiths as their influence. Mm-hmm. They're a very small little group.
And in Kamaya's head, she comes from Hoban, so 19 people who meet up on a regular basis. That sounds like a pretty sizable thing to her.
That sounds like a polyphonic spree to you or something. It's a very large band, effectively.
Okay. And I'm assuming S4 is gonna go look through the database stuff. Because Maya certainly isn't.
Sure. Yeah, you can go over to their light books, their texts.
Do I need some sort of special interface, or can I do this the old-fashioned way with the end cap computer?
The end cap computer is more. It's literally Google. If you want to go to the actual individual books, you kind of have to data port into each individual book.
Okay. Do I have one that will work, or do I need to ask for assistance?
You have a port that'll work.
Okay. You've got some sort of star USB.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's in the end of one of S4M's fingers, though. So he literally walks up and touches the book, and so he's going to search for a while. Would you like me to make the roll now? Or?
Yeah, go ahead and do the computers now. It's
all
going to
right,
be
difficulty.
Gosh, 1 purple, 1 black.
Oh God. Okay. Boop. 3 successes and a threat.
Okay. So,
but yes, S4M is going to do this for a little while. I believe he has to go search individual light bulbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what you get first. Predominantly, all the information they have is about not about this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because once the information was purged off this planet, it had already been a long time since there were any Jedi faith activities on the planet. So whenever they did the purge, they got it pretty clean off of this place. The stuff you do find, obviously, there's a ton of information about, the Skywalkers and the attempt to bring back another Jedi temple, and kind of in that era of things. Every once in a while, you do have information about certain holocrons that were popped up and where they were last seen, and what little information was able to be gleaned by them. There are a few Jedi temples, but when they talk about them, they are like, there was one here, and now it is a giant crater. You do see the name of a few expeditions that were sent out in search of recovering Jedi archives or Jedi temples.
Artifacts, yeah.
And you see a whole bunch of locations and the theories they used to try and find them.
Were any of those locations on this planet?
None of them are on this planet. No one even thought to look.
Were there other Force-using traditions that they have information on that were on this planet?
You see a small legend about that there was a master and apprentice on this planet, that just a little bit of folklore that continued on long enough, and it looks like the specialty was in Force mind manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you really know. It's almost like a spoopy story or something like that they told. Mm-hmm. So when you hear the word Jedi, it's not about laser swords and backflips and stuff like that. It's more about influence. Mm-hmm. And that the last thing written about this planet about a Jedi was that a Jedi tried to run for a position of power. And that's all you see. It doesn't even say if they won or not.
Or what position?
Mm-hmm. Or when?
The win, it seems to be time between Old Republic and Galactic Empire. Somewhere in there.
What if we change the search parameters? Maybe it's not specifically Jedi, but maybe we cast a wider net and narrow it down. Say any type of pyramid, and then correspond it with the timeline that we're looking for?
I could certainly try that, Captain.
So you're still looking in the texts, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you exactly looking for?
Just any mention of a pyramid first. And then narrow that down.
Gonna control F for pyramid.
There was an era that pyramid stylings seemed to be the most efficient use of space. But that's all you really find, is that it's an architectural era they use those in, not specific to any particular function.
What era was it?
Old Republic-y.
How recent in the Old Republic?
How recent?
Like, for example, would it correspond to when that Jedi tried to run for office?
It would definitely that would have definitely come after. But if you create one of these, if that's the current theme of the buildings, it would have stayed there for a pretty long time before it had been either covered or demolished.
Okay. Negative, Captain. This is not sufficiently detailed to give us information on that sort of thing. It would appear the pyramids were a architectural era of this planet. There are probably still many of them here if they have not been covered or demolished. But there is no link to a Force-using tradition in the pyramid or a particular person in the pyramids.
While he's looking, Kamaya is poking around. She wants to find anything about, like, just generally about the Jedi religion, like things that they believed and, you know, stuff they practiced and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. You're able to find super basic.
Yeah,
Jedi code and
like
stuff
the
like that.
wiki on the basic tenets of the Jedi.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. She copies it to her datapad.
So while this would normally be a really good repository for ancient information about religions, it was an ancient repository for religions, so it definitely got targeted.
I also continue to chat with the guy we were talking to.
Yeah.
And I do get, so they were on floor 219. So we got that, and we can go find them. But I just kind of want to chat and make buddies with them and see if, he doesn't know anything right now, but if there's anywhere else we can look for information, or any other groups that consider themselves Jedi influenced.
Sure, you can cross-search that. Their applications for hall membership are pretty big. There's a whole bunch of random of applications that cite Jedi as a influence. But
is there a prominent one that he can tell me about?
That's the biggest
I'm
one.
Kamaya, by the way.
Huh? Oh, I read. They mention it's like it's like saying like your influences are the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's just it's mostly
the Star Beatles. Yeah.
It's mostly it's
Everybody
mostly
likes them.
yeah. So this would be these people actually like note certain parts of the Jedi code that they would use and like want to enact as core tenets, as is on their application. The other ones are just naming a spattering of different religions.
Okay, so typically the other ones who talk anything about the Jedi, they aren't even really referencing anything in particular.
Because there's very little of that floating around. And the First Order's tramping around, so...
Yeah. I guess that's true, too. As she presses a button to save another set of Jedi Wiki to her datapad. Are you finding anything interesting, S4?
Not particularly, although they do have huge gaps in their knowledge. I could fix some of this, actually.
You know more?
About some of this, certainly. Although my information may be vastly out of date. But the ancient archives appear to be what they are missing, yes.
That's up to you. If you want to fill it in, go ahead.
I will prepare a document for them. They may wish to cross-reference and adjust the information as they can confirm it, as my information, as I say, might be out of date, and some of my information appears to be corrupted. I also appear to have several internal blocks on giving away certain pieces of information. A holdover from my master, no lie.
Well, if you think it's sensitive or something, then...
Well, I'm simply unable to give that information anyway.
Is there a way we could get around those?
With the help of a good slicer, perhaps.
So we can ask Notch.
That is a possibility. But let us focus on the task at hand.
I feel kind of at a dead end here.
Well, we haven't gone to talk to that group yet.
That is correct.
It's not really likely that they'll know anything, but they could.
Is the Seeker still here?
Mm-hmm.
Is he still helping us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it sound like we're going to leave this archive then?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about leaving.
Yeah. Okay. I will dump everything I have, or that I can access at least, onto a datapad, a rather sturdy one, and I will hand it to this person, and I will say,
Curate, thank you for your assistance. Here is some information that your archive appeared to be missing. However, I would be sure to double-check it before you enter it into the archives, as some of my internal databanks have been corrupted over the last 3,000 years.
I will look over this. And looks at you in kind of a furrowed-browed, judging kind of manner.
That's fine. S4M does not care.
Thanks for your help.
He is right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on.
Alright, let's go find this meeting of the Third Resurrection of Twilight.
Okay. You walk all the way back through. You walk up to the lifts. You take the lifts up 19 floors, I believe? You walk up to 19 floors, and it's a much smaller hall area. It looks like a whole bunch of... a massive bank of small little meeting rooms, effectively. Mm-hmm. About half of which are currently full and have people moving around in them. It's mostly clear glass with a bit of frosting at the bottom, and you see people's mouths moving, but it's perfectly quiet where you currently are. Remy, that buzz is kind of back in your ears after you left that one hall.
Okay.
Let's see. You pulled up their Star Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, you have the location of where the meeting is supposed to happen. in relation to this floor.
Cool. We go find it.
You start going through, and you guys said you were going to come a little early, and you have. So it is actually, you go in, and there's a little table of Star Calf and Star Donuts and other kinds of...
It's not Star Kool-Aid.
Yep. No Star Kool-Aid. And just chairs everywhere. And there is off into the corner, sitting at a little table, is a small Twi'lek going through a whole bunch of books. Or pads. Go through a whole bunch of different data pads.
I was going to say, an actual book?
Whoa!
What will they think of next? We can finally get rid of all these data pads.
Hi.
Hi, you're early. Welcome. Gets up, brushes off the clothes. It's a whole bunch of, it's not robes, but it's a whole bunch of that same flat colored clothing. Even though it's like a little vest and a shirt and pants and everything, it is that same kind of, off tan, simple cloth kind of clothing.
I totally feel like we should open with "We are visitors from another world."
Thanks for listening. To make sure you don't miss any big updates, follow us on Facebook at No Match for Blaster, or on Twitter at Morality_plays. If you enjoyed our show, please leave us a review on iTunes, and visit our Patreon at patreon.com/moralityplays. No Match for Blaster is a podcast by Morality Plays. Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny are made by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our theme is by Kevin MacLeod, sound effects by Tristan Logren, Bindus, and Akmov. And of course I'd like to thank my amazing players. Brandon playing Remy Drobash, Gerald playing S4M3L, and Bobby playing Kamaya Saris. And of course I'd like to thank you, our listeners. And we'll see you again soon in a galaxy far, far away.